What happened to the smartest kid in your school? The smartest kid at our school was this guy, Kyrie, who could memorize entire textbooks overnight and solve complex equations that made our math teachers look like kindergartners. He had this photographic memory that was honestly kind of scary. You could show him a page of random numbers and he'd recite it back perfectly weeks later. But here's the thing that made everyone think he was completely losing it. Kyrie had this weird obsession with our janitor, Mr. Kennedy. While everyone else walked past him like he was invisible, Kyrie would spend his lunch breaks following him around the school, asking detailed questions about cleaning chemicals, maintenance schedules, and security protocols. He'd sit in empty hallways watching Kennedy work, taking notes in this beat-up composition notebook. We all thought it was just another one of Kyrie's social awkwardness quirks. The kid was brilliant academically, but couldn't read a room to save his life. His obsession with the janitor just seemed like more proof that genius and weirdness went hand in hand. Senior year, Kyrie started acting really strange, even for him. He'd show up to school at 6 a.m. when the building first opened, stay until they practically kicked him out at night, and we'd constantly catch him wandering the halls with that same notebook, scribbling frantically and muttering to himself. When people asked what he was doing, he'd just mumble something about inconsistent patterns and security vulnerabilities before walking away. His grades actually started slipping because he was so distracted. Teachers who used to praise him began pulling him aside with concerned looks. Everyone was worried Kyrie was having some kind of mental breakdown from academic pressure. Then one Tuesday morning in March, we couldn't find Mr. Kennedy anywhere. His cleaning cart was abandoned in the main hallway, supplies scattered around like he'd left in a hurry. His keys were still dangling from his belt loop that was hanging on the cart handle. The principal spent the entire morning searching for him. They checked the boiler room, storage closets, even the roof. When Kennedy didn't show up for his afternoon shift either, they started getting seriously worried. This guy had worked at our school for 15 years and had never missed a day without calling in. By Wednesday, the principal called the police. They brought in dogs, searched every inch of the building and grounds, interviewed students and staff. Nothing. Mr. Kennedy had simply vanished without a trace. That's when Kyrie walked into the principal's office Thursday morning with a thick folder full of handwritten notes, building blueprints, and what looked like surveillance schedules. He told them exactly where to find Mr. Kennedy and why he'd disappeared. Turns out, Kyrie had been conducting his own investigation for months. He'd noticed that expensive equipment kept going missing from science labs in the computer room. Nothing dramatic enough to trigger major investigations, but consistent enough to establish a pattern. While everyone else assumed it was random theft by students, Kyrie had been tracking every disappearance against Kennedy's cleaning schedule. He'd figured out that Kennedy had been systematically stealing valuable electronics and lab equipment, selling it through online marketplaces. But during his latest heist Tuesday night, Kennedy had gotten trapped in the old Cold War-era bomb shelter beneath the school when the electronic lock malfunctioned. Kyrie had actually predicted this would happen. He'd been studying the building's original blueprints and discovered that the shelter's locking mechanism had a fatal flaw. It would randomly engage during power fluctuations, which happened every Tuesday when the district ran maintenance on the electrical grid. The police found Kennedy exactly where Kyrie said he'd be, alive but trapped for 3 days in a concrete room filled with stolen school property worth over $50,000. Kennedy was arrested and charged with grand theft. Kyrie graduated valedictorian and got into FBI Academy. He's now a federal agent specializing in white-collar crime and has solved dozens of cold cases using the same pattern recognition skills he developed watching our janitor.